Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going over a quick case study that I put together for a client that we worked with in 2024. We actually were able to take him from 4,000 clicks a month in January to 39,000 clicks a month in September of that year. Yeah, it was a really big site. I am excited to get into it. So yeah, let's get started. All right, cool. So first things first, this client came at the start of the year 2024. A large skincare retailer approached us seeking help to improve their SEO rankings. They were particularly concerned about competitors outranking them, which motivated them to invest in SEO to turn the tide. Here's how we made an SEO a key driver of their traffic. So of course, as you all know, if you've watched the channel, before I take any client, I usually run them through a framework that I've put together. This framework is basically really solid to understand what they can expect or what I can expect when I'm doing their SEO, and especially with the clients that really need ROI quickly. So first, I always ask the client if they are spending any money on ads. If they are spending money on Google Ads, that's a green flag usually. The second question I want to understand is if they have brand searches. So I usually look into Ahrefs or SEMrush and then see if there's any existing demand for their brand, which tells me like they have a social footprint outside of the search, which is a big authority generator and helps us with ranking and outranking other people on the search. And the third thing is how large the product catalog is. The bigger the product catalog, the more opportunities we can go after. And yeah, since 2025, the smaller the brand is, the harder it is to get actual revenue from the search, because even if you rank number one for 5, 10, 15 keywords, the number one position that is not as impactful as it used to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Now the number one position is pretty much the number 6 position when it comes to transactional keywords. So because like you have like the shopping ads, the Google search ads, all of that stuff, the suggested products, which is really taking all the real estate on the search. So if you're not running Google Ads and you don't have a big catalog, SEO is kind of impossible for it to work for you unless you have a really known brand. So yeah, that's the first thing. Of course, they had all these three. They were running Google Ads, they had massive brand searches behind them, and they also had a massive product catalog. They had 22,000 SKUs, which means there's plenty of opportunity to go after. Okay, cool. So the first step or the first phase of any SEO client, we usually want to build them their roadmap. The roadmap is basically the list of all the pages that we need to work on, either to optimize them if they are existing or to build them from scratch if they don't exist on the site yet. So that's where we list all the pages, all the collections that we want to build, or all the collections we want to refresh if they exist. And then we want to make sure that we properly align them with their primary keyword. So let me show you what that means is. So if we come here, this is their thing. Let me just do that real quick. Let's go into the fragrances. You can see that every single page here, you can see page rewrites, this is the URL, is aligned with the primary keyword. So let's say Versace perfume, we want to make sure that this is targeting the actual primary keyword, which is Versace perfume. And we also want to extract all those market signals, which means the volume, the keyword difficulty, and if people are actually searching, like if actually Google Ads being spent on that keyword, which tells me like this is an actual good keyword to compete for organically, because it's being proven that people are willing to spend money on that keyword in Google Ads. All right, cool. So once we extract all of the market signals that we want to go after, we will add all of them up through a weight class. And after you add weights to each factor that's playing into sorting the opportunities, you'll have a priority score. So you do this and then you'll see where are the most important pages to start with. Now, of course, because of this client was a huge retailer, we wanted to assess supply for the items that they didn't have inventory for. So for example, here, my Way perfumes, they didn't have that on their website. They didn't have any products under this brand, but I wanted to ask them if they could actually source inventory for that product so we can actually create a collection and then compete for that product. So that's what I'm like in my master's thesis. I'm talking about the top-down approach where I am analyzing the entire market and figuring out every single ounce of opportunity that we can actually go after. I'm not just trying to be confined with what the website has in terms of products. Yeah, you have to align with that with the client or with the prospect you're working with before you actually implement this. But in this case, it was actually something they could do. So we went ahead and then added all the keywords that we could assess supply for. So yeah, that's the roadmap phase. We kicked off our SEO strategy by aligning with the client business goals, which means some categories had more priority than the others. So that's why, as you can see here in the roadmap, we broke down every single roadmap by its own category. So you can see here, there's a roadmap for skincare, there's a roadmap for hair care, skincare, there's a item for fragrances, and so on, so on. So it was really important to do that so we can actually focus in and zoom in into the categories because they had a broad coverage there. So yeah, with a massive product catalog, we knew content creation wasn't the priority. Instead, we focused on optimizing collection pages for transactional keywords. The client's main goal was to clear out stock in their skincare categories, so we prioritized this segment or this category. So we conducted in-depth keyword research, analyzing factors such as the keyword difficulty, domain authority requirements, and potential traffic. This allowed us to optimize existing collections while also identifying untapped opportunities. We created a new collections pages targeting niche search intents to maximize reach. So yeah, just as I explained, we focused on one category at a time. We figured out what pages needs to be refreshed, what pages needs to be created. For example, just to give you a quick example, for the skincare category, they had probably most of these collections here, but they really weren't thinking about giving the user the shop by ingredient, which means people would be looking at, okay, a vitamin C cream, face cream, or something like that. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to aggregate all the products that had vitamin C in them into one collection and target the vitamin C keyword there, okay? Vitamin C skincare or whatever it is. So yeah, that was pretty much the logic behind the roadmap. Now, when it came to the second wing of implementing the SEO strategy, while the roadmap is going on, we actually want to focus on doing the technical SEO. And at this scale of websites, you want to prioritize technical SEO because there's going to be a lot of issues that's going to hinder crawling and indexing and getting the most out of your site. So first, we categorized our technical SEO efforts into 4 key areas. There's going to be indexation, there's going to be crawling, speed, and analytics. So at the indexation level, we corrected the client's faulty Google Search Console setup, fixed the robot.txt file, and removed irrelevant pages from the search index. So any pages that had like vendor tags in them or filters or variants or any of these pretty much useless pages that you can't access from the backend of Shopify, we removed them by implementing a code in the robot.txt which blocks Google from calling them, and then we requested removal of these pages in Google Search Console. After that, we resolved all the 404 errors and redirect chains which were hindering Google's ability to crawl and index the site. At this scale, again, there's going to be a lot of products that have been deleted, a lot of products discontinued, all of these things. Maybe they redirected products and then redirect them again. We wanted to make sure that the crawl budget was absolutely optimized and efficient. So we fixed all the 404 pages. We also broke down the redirect chains, which means if a link is redirecting from A to B to C, we just redirected it from A to C and then removed the middle link. And then speed, this was one of the biggest issues they were running through. What we did is pretty much compress all the images on the pages and really just like remove all the plugins that they weren't using, especially gem pages. I don't know why they had it, but it was just like bugging all the time. And the other thing we did was lazy loading, which means letting the images and all of the media load as you scroll on the page and not everything at the same time, which really affected took them from like 60 to 980 in GT metrics. So that was a big change just by implementing this. And of course, analytics, we ran health checks on the analytics setup to identify and correct inaccurate data that could affect decision making. A few things there were wrong. They had duplicate triggers, so we cleaned this up as well. Now, this is more like in-depth what we did on the technical side. You could pretty much see that for yourself. I'm not gonna get into it because it's so boring. Now, week 3, we rolled out monthly content sprints focused on optimizing collection pages. Each page was revamped with SEO-friendly elements like short descriptions and FAQ sections to ensure contextual relevance for both users and search engines. So if you remember the roadmap that we did, now it's time to execute on that roadmap and kind of go page by page. So pretty much what we did is we added this section here, which is a short description of the collection page, and we also added the FAQ section, which means a few questions that people ask for a while, and we use these sections so we can embed internal links. Either we embed internal links to bestseller products or to sister collections where we're like, okay, here is another collection you could check out for a more specific concern. So yeah, week 3, week 4, week 6, until the next 6 months, we were just trying to move category by category through the collection pages and getting them all readied and internal linked and all of that. To date, we have optimized 102 collection pages, which means we actually did no, this is way more here. The execution phase. So our content pipeline ensured that all the bottom of funnel keywords with transactional intent were matched with dedicated optimized collection page, just like I showed you. We also set up an internal linking strategy, linking collections to product pages to pass authority across the site. So now looking ahead, we plan to support key collection pages with blog content and backlinks to boost rankings for pages that need extra help breaking into the top search results. This measured approach allowed us to allocate resources effectively, using backlinks and blogs as backup strategies only when necessary. So at this scale, you really can get results just because you have product because you have inventory available. So you don't have to focus on blogs and backlinks. You just have to focus on creating more bottom of funnel pages for very specific keywords. Of course, this is how it started. We started with the shopping pages, and really we didn't get to do any long form articles or any PR just because they jumped like 10x their traffic was just working on their shopping pages. So yeah, this is the results so far. We're able to get them from 800k to 5.5 million impressions, click-through from 4,000 to 39,000, and organic revenue jumped from 102,000 to 182,000, a 1.8x increase. So what's next? To continue the momentum, we plan to rework the navigation menu to link the most important collection pages, just like I showed you earlier, launch a CTR and CRO optimization sprint, which means we want to look into the Hotjar or the Microsoft Clarity data and kind of figure out how can we optimize further the page elements so we can just like have a continuous improvements across the pages that we're working on or the templates. And the last thing is we wanted to train the client to manage their own inventory properly so they don't do duplicate pages and kind of mismanage their products and create more technical SEO work for us. So yeah, that's about it. If you need an SEO agency that deliver results, that's us. We do this almost every single day. We have a bunch of clients that we run them through the same exact process and they all get the same results, mainly because we really pick who we work with. We don't work with anybody that we can't get results for. So yeah, if you are interested in working with us, the link is in the description. And yeah, if you have any other questions, just send me a DM or drop them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys. Peace.